Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday show at 4 p.m. Yeah, it's called the Mamaliez Wants to Learn, and our afternoon show is back at 4 p.m. I've stopped it for a while during the fasting month and the Raya, so I've been only doing the Friday night show. So now we continue again. I'm inviting someone very special today. I've learned a lot from her. It's all about today's title is how to establish good healthy habits at home now for your kids and future healthy lifestyle. So, and we have Miss Angela Eimer. She is the strategist and coach, certified integrative nutrition health coach and speaker. Let me share with you her profile. This is her. She's a mother of one. She has 30 years of corporate and work experience in 2017. And now she has become a nutrition health coach and creating a habit strategies for better health wellness for kids and adults. One thing I love about her, I went to one of her webinars and I remembered that she teach that we need to eat our food and be conscious of what we are eating. Yeah, we're conscious of what we're eating and to taste everything and not to watch the phone and not to watch the TV because otherwise we get distracted and we weren't able to taste our food. So it was because I was so used to having my phone to watch my YouTube or watch my Netflix while I'm eating. That was my habit that I've been doing, which is not really great. So now I'm implementing that. So one of my struggles as a mother is to implement healthy lifestyle of eating. Yeah, so that's why I invited Angela. Maybe she can share with us her knowledge on how we can have our kids eating a healthier lifestyle as well as us as a family. So please welcome Angela. Hi, Angela. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm gonna unmute you. Okay. Hi,
Hi, good afternoon.
thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, Angela, maybe would you like to have a brief introduction of yourself?
Yes, thank you very much. So I'm a habit strategist and coach, and I'm a certified health coach. I studied in the US for the integrative nutrition health coach. And when I started working as an integrative nutrition health coach, I realized that the thing that made a big difference while I was working with people is if I managed to change their habits. I realized that when changing the habits, that is actually where I achieved a lot more with people than telling them what to eat and when to eat and how to eat. Looking at their lifestyle and looking where they come from and how they have built up their habits was for me a much better way to make better changes than, just saying, okay, you do this, you do that, you should. So that's how the whole thing started. So while I was working, I realized that habits were really important, and I really fell in love with habits. I fell in love with the subject around habits, and I said to myself, okay, I'm going to concentrate on habits rather than telling people what to do, but working on habits and helping them find the best way for them.
Awesome. But what was the first habit that you were looking at that causes you to think, oh, this is the habit that I need to change? Was it just the food or lifestyle? What is it that you were looking at? Or is it the work culture? Which is it? Because you were in corporate world.
Yes. Yeah. The thing was, actually, the real reason was my daughter, because my daughter is a very high level athlete. She is a wakeboarder. And she's international. She's international level, so we've been traveling a lot. And she was discovered 7 years ago. When she was 10 years old, she was discovered as a potential talent, right?
Yeah.
So that meant from once a week hobby riding, it went to 5 days a week intensive training. And I was like, that is, very demanding to a body, a young body. Yeah. And even though I thought we were healthy eaters, right? My thinking of healthy back then, right? We
Right,
have
right.
sausage, we have pasta, we have this, we have that.
Right.
So I thought we are balanced. But then I realized we are not really balanced, because the processed food, etc., has a lot of sugar. So I realized if my daughter has to do this kind of training, I have to do something about nutrition. And then I went on Google.
Right.
What would you do, Lise? You would
Yeah,
also go
yeah.
on Google, right? Google, Mrs.
Right,
Google knows everything, right? So I
right.
did exactly the same thing. I went on Google and checked out things, but then I realized the one said this, the other one said that, then the third one said this. It was like all over the place. And how would you make a decision if you don't know exactly the reason, right? Or
Right.
the background. If you don't have really background, you're like, okay, I try this, and then but that one says that. So you get very confused. And that's
Right.
why I decided to learn about nutrition, and I signed up for this course in the US, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Oh,
And
awesome.
that started the whole change.
That's how it started, the whole
Yes,
thing of
that's how it started.
you want to focus on the nutrition and habit coach, right?
For my daughter, I
For
wanted
your
to do
daughter,
this
yeah.
for my daughter. And while I was studying and when I finished my studies, I was like, I can't keep this for myself. There is so much information, so much important stuff that I said,
Yeah.
I don't have the right to keep it for myself. I have to make this public. And that's when I decided to become, to make it a profession. And then I fell in love with the habits, and that's where I am now today.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I love that story. Okay, hello, Vivian. Just want to say hello. Hi, Vivian. Thank you so much for
Hi,
joining us
Vivian.
today.
Hi.
Anyone online, just let us know where you are tuning in from. Are you in Malaysia or outside Malaysia? Thank you so much for joining us at 4 o'clock. I know there's Saturday. You don't want to be watching something here, but if it's going to sound, it's going to rain soon, but at least it's something, right? So, yeah, Angela, but do you think by this kind of habits, it's not just applicable just on food, but also in general on other areas of our life in creating the habits?
Absolutely. Habits, for example, is apart from food, is also very much exercise, right? And it is also the three most important, or I would say the three first I would work on is food, exercise, and sleep. Sleep is
And
very important. Sleep.
sleep.
Tidur.
Oh, so Tido, okay. So like what do you think? Because some, like, even for me, I sometimes during the day I can't really focus so much to do my work because I have my kids and all that, and most of the time after I put my kids to bed and then do my work after that, most my paperwork, everything after that, and sometimes I sleep very late, 1 to 2 a.m. And also average sleep I have is about maybe 6 hours to seven, no, maximum 7 hours. So what's your advice on what is the ideal sleep for an adult or anyone? Yeah.
7 hours I think is perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
But again, every person is different, right? That's something that we really have to learn, whether it comes to nutrition, whether it comes to exercise, whether it comes to sleep. By the end of the day, we are all different. Are you sleeping? What are your current sleeping habits? What are the sleeping habits for your children, for example, right?
Yeah.
You want them to go to sleep early, but they don't want to go to sleep. So
Yes.
the thing is, what do we, in order to establish habits that they sleep better, that they have a better routine, we have to create a routine. You see what I mean? It's not just, what do they do in the evening? They go and they are supposed to have a shower, right?
Yeah.
Then they brush their teeth, right? They get into their
Right.
pajamas. I don't know. Everybody has their different order, but it's kind of similar, right?
Yeah.
And then they go in their bed. And when they're young, or mommy and daddy are so nice, they read them bedtime stories. And suddenly they're too old for that. Poof,
Okay.
gone. So now I'm not
Yeah.
a small child anymore. Poof, the attention is gone. Let's go to bed. You're old enough now.
Right.
So what can you, and that is, again, I can give tips, but I don't have the golden solution because that's where I work with people, because I have to find out what their habits are, what their routines are. because routines are also very much, habits are also very much related to your entire family. How did you grow up? What do you take over? Maybe you do things, Liz, now because your parents didn't do that and you think it's important.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
you do things because you think that was great because your parents did that. Everybody is different. So there is no fixed rule. We have to look at every family, every kid, or at least children. We have to, in 3 kids, 2 kids, how many kids you have. We have to look at them individually or at least in their group, but we can't say one is like this, so everybody is the same. It does not work.
Right. So right now, because earlier this year, I started learning about eating healthier and having a healthier lifestyle, especially, not that I don't know about it. I always known about it. I never really get into doing it, into a real habit. I had that habit before and I lost it, and now I have to implement it again. So, but in more healthier ways. So I have also my lifestyle coach to also teach me on that, and I'm learning. But then again, I struggle because I start to change and I start to need, and then my kids are different, eating differently, and my husband eating different food. All have different habits. So that is my struggle now. I'm trying to, make the changes, right? And then, okay, my kids are not eating vegetables. They don't want to even try. They don't like it. They always usually just like the fried stuff. So, yeah. So,
okay. I see what you mean, and I think that is the struggle nowadays. I think a lot of parents have this kind of, it's kind of building, there's a kind of guilt feeling amongst parents. I feel that they are like, okay, food is important. I have to take better. Everybody's talking about child obesity, etc., and I really have to take more attention about giving my kids the right food because society is looking at you nowadays. You give kids a lollipop. People like me, I don't judge you, but inside myself, I'm like, oh my God, how can you do that? It's like giving, might as well give like a little bit of poison to your child. So you see what I mean? It is because we all have different definitions of healthy. That is one of the important things. Now, the definition of healthy for you, Liz, may be completely different from your husband, even.
Yeah,
even though you're in the same family. Because, for example, your husband, for example, let's take this. It is very relative. Healthy lifestyle is relative. There is no rule how it has to look like. Take the example of Peter. Peter is 35 years old. He runs 5 kilometers a day. Okay. And New Year's resolution was, I am going to cut down on processed food, even though I love cheese and sausage. That is my New Year's resolution. So that is his target, his look at a healthier lifestyle in comparison to his present lifestyle. Even though he runs 5 kilometers, he's 35 years old, he sleeps 8 hours a night. So he's you would say healthy person, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Now, on the other hand, you have Mary, who is 27 years old. She's a nurse in a hospital, has 3 small kids, and works shift. She brings home, because of a shift work, she brings home tapao makan every evening because, her shift changes and then someone gets sick, she has to jump in. She doesn't have a routine life like you and I can make ours, right? So what does she do when she goes home? She tapao something somewhere, okay?
Yes, correct.
Now, her New Year's resolution was, instead of tapao 5 weeks a day, only 3 days a week, 5 days a week. She wants to go down to 3 days a week.
3 days
that
a week.
Is a huge jump in healthy for her. Now compare Peter to Mary, it's completely different, right?
Right, yes.
But it's not up to us to judge. It's not up to us to judge what is healthy. I can't judge, Mary, what you eat 5 days a week, tapao food you give your kids. do I live a lifestyle? Can I make her life easier? Can I organize someone to help her? No. So who am I to judge, right? The same thing. And Peter, on the other hand, is like, okay, he wants to just stop sausage and cheese. I'm like, oh, that's easy. I mean, so you see what I mean? So when you look at healthy lifestyle, when you ask parents, for example, I do that all the time when I work with families. I ask the mother and I ask the father, where do you see yourself today in life, healthy lifestyle? The numbers are very different, 1 out of 10, 1 to 10. And then where is your goal? You will see even in a family, it is completely different. Even husband and wife, because your association with healthy is different. So the first thing you have to do is kind of find out, what as a family do you want to achieve? What do you wife want? How do you see yourself? And how do you husband see yourself? And how can we blend in? And how can we work it out together, build something together for our children? That is step number one. So that's where, this is where that's where we work on the strategies.
You know what? That's a really, really amazing point you make about not judging somebody based on, on what you see, based on their lifestyle. You can't say whether every person have a different definition of how healthy, what is health. And
Yeah.
I think you're right about being guilty, because I thought, okay, this is what is the society thinks should be guilty. I feel guilty. I'm not able to go to that level that I thought is healthy for my family.
Yeah.
So
But that's very common.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, a shift of point of view that I see. Wow, I never see it that way. And I think this is the first time I hear something like, to have a shift of point of view. Don't judge, don't judge. And that's really, really amazing. Now, I see things differently. I mean, we can't expect to pull up somebody out because they have a different perception of what is healthy. Yeah, amazing.
And that's why every family is different. There is no one route fits all. What works for one might not work for the other one. So you start from scratch. You have to look at what is the history, because, for example, habits, let's say food habits, or many other habits are generation related. They have been there from great grandmother, grandmother, mother, kids, going on, etc. So you can't just like chip chop, finish, over, done. No, it doesn't work. You have to look at it, and your husband and you are from different cultures. Am I right?
Yes. My husband's from Austria. Yeah.
Look at the different cultures.
Yeah.
Look at the different food cultures. Look at the different lifestyle cultures. What does his family come from? What do they do? How do they eat? How do they? What is exercise in their opinion? What is your story, your family? It is, hello. We're putting two things together and think they just blend easily. They don't blend easily. It is work to make it kind of like blend like this, right? So that is what is healthy for your husband, what is healthy for you. How do you eat? Do you eat at early times, late times? Are you late eaters? Are you early eaters? Do you eat together? Do you eat with fork and knife, or eat you with spoon and knife, or spoon and fork, or do you eat with your hands? It's so many things. What is the purpose for you of having food together? Is it because you just eat together? Because is it about nutrition? There are families who are, they just get together because they eat. It's not a communication time for many. For others, it's like, so how was your day? What did you do at school? Okay, mom asked dad, how was work? Now he tells his story about, his colleague doing this and this, and getting his tie tied up in the photo Xerox machine or something like that, so that it's a family talk, so the kids are involved. But for other people, it is just the time where they can just like hum, no talk. because they just, they have to talk and work the whole day, and they're just like, they just want the peace. Others like to eat in front of TV. For them is having animation while having dinner, not at the table, but eating on the couch. I don't judge it. I stopped judging it because of my profession. I used to judge, but now I don't judge it anymore, because everybody has a different purpose in eating. In taking in food, meals, the association with meals is different for many people. So if you like to have dinner at TV time, I'm fine with that. If that works for you, I'm not going to tell. But if you tell me I would like to move from TV dinner to dining table dinner, that's where we start working on changing the habit. But if your habit is having dinner in the TV, I'm not there to tell you that is wrong. Who am I to say that?
Wow, that's really profound, because that we always hear, I myself, maybe like I said, is the expectation from the society, oh, we should have done this. So I keep saying that in my mind, okay, I know it's wrong. So I myself, I don't think I should be feeling so guilty.
No, you should not feel guilty. The thing is, you feel guilty because others say you should do different. Should. This word should is one of the words I really eliminate from my vocabulary. Should is, I only say I should. I don't tell others should anymore, because who am I to tell you what you have to do? If your family works well and you communicate well while watching TV, well, because maybe you do it because you didn't have a TV when you were kids. And for you, it's something that you always wanted to. So who am I to tell you? Of course, it is better not to eat in front of TV. Yes, theoretically, it is better. It is better for communication because you communicate. It is true. But other parents then sit at the dining table, and have their handphone. So where's the difference? You might as well, at least when you sit TV, you share the same screen. You watch the same movie. You laugh together, ha 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 ha, and you laugh at each other, and you're like, that was funny. You have interaction in a group. Whereas if everybody sits at the dining table and has a handphone in the hand, I seriously, which is the worst habit? For me, the worst habit is to sit at the table with a handphone rather than to sit on the couch and have dinner with one TV screen and watch a movie together. At least it's community. You see what I mean?
Yes. So the audience here, maybe you guys can share, what is your dinner eating habit with your family? How is it? Like, don't worry, Angela and me are not here to judge anyone. Then we're not going to judge anybody. You can share what is your eating habit and with your family. How is it like? Just share with us. I'm so happy that I hear this from you, Angela, because now I realize that I shouldn't be feeling guilty or how is my habit now. I just need to decide first. I think the first step, like what you mentioned, is to talk to my husband and find out what is being healthy means, right?
What is your value of healthy?
Yeah, what is the value of being healthy? Okay,
so that is and value.
Definition and value. So those are the two things we need to identify together as a family, and my husband and wife. Do I ask the same questions to my kids?
Not yet. You have to define yourself first. Then when you have defined yourself, you ask the kids, what do you think is healthy? The kids will say, someone who eats McDonald's every day is unhealthy. Why do they say that? Because they heard it. What do they want to have 5 days a week? McDonald's. You see the contradiction?
Okay. So
theoretically, they know. Theoretically, they know they should not eat McDonald's. But most of the kids, when you ask them, would you like to have McDonald's? Yeah. Oh, McDonald's, yeah. So, that's exactly where your struggle is. So you sit down with your kids and ask them, what is healthy for you? Or what do you think would be, if you want to get healthier, what would you do? What would you do for yourself to become healthier? And you will see kids. Some kids will say, I won't eat lollipops anymore. Other kids will say, I will eat more vegetables. I would eat more vegetables. That doesn't mean they're going to do it, right? But that is so find out where the tendencies are, because then with that, you can work out your program. That's what I do. We find out the first thing I actually work on with all kids. That is standard procedure now. Is drink.
Is to find out what would they do
what they
drink first. What they drink first. So Amanda Burden was saying that she table, TV, floor, porch, anything to create interesting environment for kids. Amanda, do you mind sharing how old are your kids? Yeah. So it happens to my kids as well. That my kids because they are very very super active, right? So they weren't able to sit down in one place, even just to eat. They wouldn't even if I don't have anything for them to distract or anything. I think actually my mother taught me, say, okay, use the TV or use the iPad phone or whatever, put on the YouTube and feed them food. So they will just eat it, right? Without realizing it. That was the habit. I teach them that. And then they started watching that, and then they start eating, and they have to have the TV, the YouTube or whatever show they have while they eat. So that's the only time they're able to sit down. Otherwise, if I don't get on, they will be running around eating, catching the,
that is exactly what you said you liked about my talk. What intrigued you was eating consciously.
Yes, exactly. So I
you can't have your kids are eating unconsciously.
Yes. You're right.
That's the struggle. That is where it is there. That is where people want their kids to eat. So they want them to eat. So whatever it takes for them to eat, they will give them. But that doesn't change. That is not creating a habit, because and it doesn't work because the kids are not eating consciously. What is important, even if you have TV dinner, is to eat consciously. You can still watch your kids and tell them, so how is this? And did you taste a difference in that? How do you find this? Would you like, how could I change? Next time, how can I change it? You can still talk about food. You have to still pay attention, even if you eat with TV, that the kids are eating consciously, not just like this, You can eat and and express yourself and say, so is it nice? You like it? Yes, I like it. It's very yummy. What can I change next time? That's the nice thing. With TV, you can pause it. And that's what I did with my daughter back then, because she went to friends and they always watch TV. So she came back to TV. Okay, fine. So I made a deal with her. Twice a week TV. But then still, I said, okay, I would stop the movie and I would say, so how is the meal? You like it? What you do? What would you next time? What can I do better, etc. So after a while, she knew that I'm going to ask a question, so she better pays attention to what she eats, right?
So that means I have to keep asking them questions to make them conscious of what they're eating.
Yes. I mean, if you eat in front of TV, that's fine. I don't judge you, but just make sure that your kids don't eat like that, right? Like watching TV, but you put the thing in the mouth and then yum, swallow, and you don't even look at you. When if you have kids, if you eat with your kids in front of TV, then make sure that you have a proper setup, and that and interrupt your kids and say, so how is the pasta today? I changed this and this. Do you like it? What do you? Oh, no, I don't like it so much. What do you not like? Can we watch the TV? No, we talk about the food just for a second. So how, and then, it can work. So you have to find, that's why we have every way of eating you have to strategize how to maximize and get the most value out of it. So TV eating, I think, is okay, but there are certain things that would be great to integrate in order not to make it an unconscious eating. Conscious eating is very important.
Right.
Very important.
Okay.
Very important to avoid. That's what I mean.
Maybe you can share with the audience, why is it conscious eating is important?
Conscious eating is important because when you eat and you eat consciously, first of all, one thing is that overeating is very often reduced, because if you eat consciously, many parents, what I've watched very often is, you go somewhere and you see either mothers or maids running after the kids, right? They're running around in the house and they jump on the sofa, and the helper or the mom is just sitting there and standing there and like, oh, up, now up, oh, in the mouth. And the kids keeps on jumping and eats one, and then it runs away somewhere else, and then it goes there, and then it goes there.
Yes. Running around.
That child does not know what it eats, right? That child will finish the plate because that child wants you to just get off its back and let it jump around. So that child will eat whatever you stuff into his mouth, because he or she knows as soon as the plate is empty, I can jump around and she's going to leave me alone.
Right.
But that is also that kid is not eating, not appreciating the food. And eating, even as a child, eating consciously is experimenting taste, which also opens your mind for new things or not so new things, right? To appreciate certain things. It develops taste. And what also happens is when you eat vegetables and you eat vegetables or whatever consciously, your mind is registering that you're moving your jaw, alone moving the jaws. Your mind knows that you're eating. So it says, I'm having food.
Right.
So having food, making this movement tells the mind there is food going in. Now, enjoying the food will make the child appreciate things more and will say, I like this. I don't like this so much, right? That means the child will automatically develop a conscious mind about food, what it likes, what it doesn't like, its preferences, and will also become more open-minded and more adventurous in eating things consciously. Because the thing is, a child that eats unconsciously, you can feed anything, but the day that child goes out and does shopping for itself, it wouldn't know what to buy. It wouldn't know what it likes. It wouldn't have a preference.
Because they don't know, they were not conscious what they like or don't like.
No, because all they want is to, okay, give me whatever I need. I eat whatever you want because I get compensated because you leave me alone. So okay, whatever. But they don't know whether they eat broccoli or whether they eat cauliflower or whether they eat carrots very often. They will not really make a difference. And that is very sad, because then it's very difficult to develop preferred dishes for those children, and also to introduce new things that might be very similar to something that they already like, and to grow their receptiveness to try new things.
Right. Yeah. Receptiveness to try new things. Yeah. So what would the example a young parent do from the start when they, especially when they, start eating solid food? How do you think before they even go to running around and all that? What do you suggest they do? What kind of introduction way to kids?
Okay, I mean,
because I have friends also. I myself also experienced that, running around trying to catch my kid when they were running around. They're not eating by themselves yet, so they were running around. So what do we do
with small kids, for example?
Yeah.
With small kids and also with other kids. I've done that with. I've worked on that. I've tested that with other parents. Also, is sometimes you don't have to be perfect. You only have to become better. So, with your food habits at home, don't try to go perfect immediately. Just change a little bit to make it a little bit better. And making it a little bit better, for example, is sometimes cheating. Cheating in the sense of, if your children don't like carrots very much, right?
Right.
Add a little bit of honey.
Add honey. Oh, okay.
Just a very little bit of honey, just to give it a little bit of a sweetness. It's better than sugar, right? It's still not perfect, right? And never use honey when you cook hot. Just sprinkle the honey when the food is served. Just sprinkle a little bit and don't show them, that is something that you can't show them, because otherwise they always want to have veggie with honey, right?
Okay.
So that is that is a little bit the cheating that you do behind their back. Other things you should not do behind their back, but that is one of them. So because kids like sweet, right? Because, you know, mother milk is sweet, formula is sweet. Unfortunately, all this is already sweet. So the taste, the sugar buds are very well developed, unfortunately. So what you do is you just sprinkle a little bit of honey to it. Very often that enhances the taste for the kids and they like it. And what you do then is slowly, you take less and less and less and less honey. That means I don't say a tablespoonful of honey in a small bowl of carrot, but still reduce, just pay attention, leave some time, start with, you know, like half a teaspoon, for example, in a glass of carrot, mashed carrots or whatever. And then just, if they don't like it, add just a little bit of honey and then slowly remove the honey. Because once the child likes it, next time, if it's a little bit less, the taste buds will adapt.
Right.
That means the baby will feel like it's still sweet. It's not as sweet as before, but it's still sweet. So, okay. And then you do less and you do less and you do less until the taste buds have changed accordingly, and the child doesn't need that, because carrot is sweet anyway, right? It's a sweet vegetable. So those are things that you can do in order to encourage your kid to eat certain things that you want them to eat. Because unfortunately, from very young age, with formula milk is sweetened. Babies are already
used to that.
To sweetness.
To sweet.
Yes, exactly. And that's why they like sweetness, because it starts very early.
Is that why they like sweetness?
Yeah, and then because we as adults, then we compensate them with sweets because they did something good, you know, and they get the lollipop, and you know, so the sweetness continues. It's encouraged nowadays. Less, thank God, that is very good. But I mean, my days, I was like, compensation was if I did my homework on time, I got ice cream or I got Nutella bread, right? Great, so much sugar. That's not, you know, that we grew up like that, right? So that was okay. That was compensation, but that compensation is not the best. The best to do. It would be better than to do something like you know, cutting some fruits and making a fruit salad instead of Nutella bread or you know, something like that, something sweet, ice cream. Then rather make a nice fresh cut fruit salad. If your kid gets used to that from the beginning, it will be much easier.
Yeah. But what, okay, right now, I give you an example. My kids, very good example of my kid. He's 6 and 7 years old. So they can know whether I put vegetable in there. Even if I smashed it or I grind it already or I use this, and then I mixed it with, like, let's say, for example, the rice, fried rice or whatever, I mixed it. And then they can taste a little bit of taste of broccoli. Say, what are you putting here? You know, okay. So they knew the taste of the vegetable. Oh, I can see you put a little bit of carrot there. I see the carrot, and I try to hide it underneath.
Yeah, but that's exactly when you start doing things behind their back, tricking them. Apart from the honey, right? As I said, that's the only time where I said you can cheat, right?
Right.
Other than that, you should never trick your kids, because what do your children do now? Because they found out once that you were cheating on them. So what do they do now? They dissect the food because they don't trust you anymore.
Oh.
They don't trust you anymore because you did put something in there that they didn't want. So now what they do is every time you serve something, they check, is something in there? Oh, what is this green? What is this green? Am I right or not?
Yeah, they will check if I put anything.
Okay, different approach. What you can attempt, what you can try is, first thing is You set rules. Again, it's all about rules and agreements, not rules like mom and dad say like this, but
It's an
okay, you
agreement.
set the rules together. Like once a week, you have to eat, or once a month, you have to try a new vegetable. So one thing you can do is you can go with your kids, sit down with your kids and go through recipe books. But the recipe books you prepare, in the sense that you put stickers in with recipes that you think are good for your children. And you go through those and you say, okay, let's look at something that we can try. What would you like to try? And go through them and let the kids sit together, spend some time, get them involved in the choice of food, in making a decision. They become empowered of speaking their mind and being part of it. Yeah. So that is the feeling of like, ooh, I'm asked. It's not just put on the table and eat. Now, ooh, that's nice. Okay, I can. Oh no, this one not, and this one not. It will be in the beginning like a little bit because why, etc. Because we have agreed, right? Once a month we bring a new vegetable in or a new fruit and let's do this. So then the next thing is you take them shopping. Once you have decided to buy the recipe, you go shopping with them. Okay, don't do the Tesco shopping where you do your laundries, detergent, and everything else. But just go to before it was Pasar Malam, for example. Now, okay, go to supermarket, take the kids along when it's allowed again, and let them see that vegetable and let them pick it, or let them pick another vegetable that they would like to try if they change their mind, and take them along when you buy vegetables so that they see the vegetables, how they are, where they are. They belong into this category or that category, etc. In the supermarket, everything looks also very yummy in the supermarket. Have you realized how yummy vegetables look in the supermarket? Because it's a neon light that makes everything, that takes the yellow out, so everything looks like really crunchy green. So take them along to the supermarket and say, okay, but only for vegetable and fruits, not for the big, because otherwise you die, right? Taking kids on the long shopping is a nightmare. So that is something you can do. And the next thing is you involve them in the cooking. So you decided to do the new vegetable, right? You decided to do it this way. And okay, let's cook it. And then you cook it, and then you cook it together. And then you let the kids afterwards. I do it very often as a game with the parents. So then the food is served, and the parents stand there while the kids are eating, and you have like a judgment paper, right? It's like food tasting. So you ask the kids about the saltiness, about the crunchiness, about the softiness of the meat, etc., etc. So the kids are actually telling you, okay, could that be a little bit less salt? Oh, I would like to have a little bit more of the tomato or whatever, right? And you take this down and you take it serious. And next time you do that dish, you do it according to what the kids have told you to change or to improve. So they become part of the whole development of a dish, a new dish, for example, and their opinion counts. It's not only what's on the table you eat, because otherwise you can't watch TV or you can't watch your game or whatsoever. Suddenly they are involved and they become like, oh, I actually contributed to it because I also cooked. So when you cook, when you participate in cooking, you're not going to sit there and say, I'm not going to eat that.
Right.
You're not going to dissect because you know exactly what is in there. You were part of it. Right. So that doesn't have to be every day. I'm not saying cook every day with your children. That I know we have busy lives. But maybe you can choose a day in a week where you make, now we're working from home. It's a little bit easier, maybe for some, for others not. Again, I can't judge. So, but maybe once a week or at least every fortnight, organize a day, a meal where you work together with the kids, but take them the best thing is the easiest is to take them from the process of choosing the food, the recipe, and cooking it, being part of the whole process. Then kids automatically kind of like open their minds and like, okay, we can try because they're involved.
Right. Okay. So that means sit down with them. Do you think that to start off, do I like introduce one dish and okay, let's do it maybe once a week or something like that, or
I would
once?
I would choose a few dishes and let them choose which one.
Yeah, yeah. So do
The
I
ones that they
do you think
prefer.
I should do it once a week kind of thing or once a month first in the
How does
starting
it
part?
fit? How does it fit into your schedule, Lise? Again, I can't. Every family is different.
Different,
Is your
yeah.
husband someone who helps you? Do you have a helper? Do you don't have a, that? Those are so many things. How many kids do you have? It's completely different. It's up to you.
Right,
It can't be a stress. It has to be fun. So
right.
that's why I'm not telling you every week, every 2 weeks. Maybe it's only once a month. Doesn't matter. Again,
Right.
as I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better. So better is once a month to have a day where you cook together is a big day, but then stick to
Yeah.
that. And then make sure consistency is very important too.
Being consistent. That's
Yes.
the most important. Because
Like,
being consistent is being to build your habit.
yes, exactly. Absolutely. And this is also when we get to another subject on this matter, which is also very important, is exercise. It's the same thing. You send your kid to football. Oh, and let's take another example. Rock climbing, right? You pay for your kids to go rock climbing. Yay, great. You have your coffee. Your kids would love to see you climbing up there. It's true. And you don't have to be. I mean, I had the experience with my daughter, right? I went rock climbing with my daughter. Seriously, I tell you honestly, I mean, there were moms sitting there sipping their coffee, and I was already in my mid-40s. That was some time ago. And already then I was like kind of an older mom, right? And I got into my harness and everything, and I could see those moms sipping their coffee kind of like, you're not serious, right? Seriously? You're gonna climb up there? Oh God, forgot. And I stood there and I saw my daughter. My daughter was like like a spider. She was gone.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
okay. But I did it. And my daughter was so happy to see me up there, not being fast. It was not. And she was even proud that she was faster. And it doesn't matter, right? But you know that your kids sees that you're doing the same thing, even if you don't do it as well as they can. It makes a big change. It really makes a big change because then you also have the right to say, hey, you should exercise while you're sitting in the couch and not moving, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Wow.
it's not about going rock climbing and doing extreme or running in the football field like a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's about going on a walk together. It's about hiking together, even if you're not a hiking fan. If your kids like it, try it out if they like it. It's bonding time, and then if you feel like, oh, I wish our friends would come along, then create a tribe. Ask some friends to come along with their kids and make it something that is happening with friends, so it's more fun with you also. There's so many things you can do to, if you don't like it so much, then make it fun for yourself too. If your kids love it and you're not so fond of it, then bring your friends in. Then it's fun, right?
Yes, that's
So
right.
it's all about looking at the individual situation and see how it can function for your family in your environment with your background, what you
Yeah,
can bring and what can you add into it.
yeah. So yeah, like even now we live in a compound place, so we're able to still go out and exercise. So I
Yes.
try as much with me and my kids. I just do cycling with them, and then when we go to the playground, and then that's when I can do the exercise, and they can also play at the
That's great.
playground.
That's
So
great, Eve.
yes, I got you. But that's the thing. I was like, okay, because I make okay, at least I need to spend that 1 hour time with them, together doing something with them.
Yeah.
That so I and it's working. It's good. They enjoy it and they like it, and it's good for myself also. Because
Yes.
as I grow older, my kids. I married very late at 39, so my kids are still young. Most of my friends, their kids are already in college, right? So
Yeah.
imagine being 40s and having young kids to run after them. It's not so it's quite challenging. It's not so easy. And I remembered also one time. Do you know that Spartan Race?
Yes.
They have Spartan Race there, and they have also Spartan Race for kids, right?
Yeah, I
So
know.
I
Yeah.
remember. So I registered my son, who at that time was 4, and my daughter was 5.5. So at the
Wow.
start, yeah, they joined the Spartan Race, but me, I didn't join the Spartan Race itself, but we followed them. So me and my husband, and the 2 kids, and then I had my sisters as well. So at the starting, I was doing the video, right? So at the starting, I said, okay, I will follow Shakira, which is my daughter, okay, and then you will follow I said to my husband, you follow Ari, which is the younger one. And then the start again, and they were running. And at one point, I was like, so can you imagine, it's like no, you move. I was like, and I was going like that. And then my daughter said, I cannot catch up with my daughter. And she's like, 5.5.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
could only catch up with my son. And I told my husband, okay, we change here. I follow this one, you follow this.
You take the one with the longer legs.
Yeah, I told my husband, you follow her, I follow our son. And then my
Yeah.
husband also could not catch up with her.
Yeah.
And thank God we have my younger sister. She's like 16, and she
Yeah.
managed to follow my daughter.
She
Can
took
you
over.
imagine? Hey, with the movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I realized, oh
Yeah.
my God! I think at that point of time,
Yeah.
oh my God, and
Yeah.
I really need to start looking into this.
Yeah. No,
Not
because
not
it's
just
true. It's very important because in the sense of if you want your kids to be active kids,
yeah,
I mean, if you can't have it, you don't have to be all on the same level. I mean, look, Ariana started wakeboarding because I was wakeboarding. Okay. But
right. Uh,
very different level, very, very different level, right? But I
yeah.
was wakeboarding back then, and she was sitting in the boat. And when she was 4.5, she said, "I want to try." And I was like, "Oh, what?" I mean, the board it wasn't even her size. It was far too big. But she tried. It worked out, and she had a lot of help from a very experienced rider. So it worked out, and it was fun. She liked it, and that's how the whole thing started. Then once a week, she wanted to go wakeboarding, so we could share it. It was so much fun because we could do it together, and then she
Yeah.
became better and better and better, and then she became, she joined the Malaysian national team, and then training started. She passed me like crazy. I mean, there was no way I could hold. But it's not about holding up. It's not about being better. It's just being there and being able to do the same thing, even if you're 3 kilometers behind when your child waits
Right.
for you. But you go through that. You run through that end line. You arrive there. You
No
made it,
matter
and that's
what.
when the kids are like, "Yes, my mom did it! Yay!" And it's true. Kids are so proud when their parents they can do it even if they're behind. It doesn't matter
Yes.
because their parents do it, whereas other parents don't. And it's a lot of bonding if kids have their parents not only sit there and watch, but if mom also puts on the football shoes and like plays a little bit in the
Yes.
garden or something like that, just for
Uh,
20 minutes. It doesn't have to be for 3 hours, right? That's what I mean.
yeah,
It's just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
tiny
yeah,
things.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that is
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
that is how you create good habits, healthy habits, mental healthy
Yeah.
habits also, which your
Yeah.
kids will carry forward in their life to their kids.
Mm-hmm. Wow, wow, that's amazing, Angela. I mean, I learned a lot today within 1 hour. Is to, I mean, we don't expect immediately to adopt straight away to the, what we go. Yeah, bit by bit, just going
Incy
through to go
wincy
towards the
tiny
action.
steps. And that is
Right, tiny
something I would
steps.
like to, yeah, something I would like to, talking about kids. a few things that are very important. First of all, never say no to a kid, in the sense of, if a kid wants a lollipop, don't say no, because that's like punishment. But because that's not how you create habits. That is punishment. A kid works with compensation and punishment, right? And but that is not habit oriented. It has to be unconditional. So what you can do, if a kid, a better example is, you're at you're outside, you're with your kid somewhere, and a kid wants to have a Fanta, okay, or a Coke, yeah, and you say, don't say no, because no, it's like, what do you create? Harassment. It's arguing, but why? No. Say, maybe later. How about we have a glass of water? We have a glass of water now, and we'll Fanta we do later after the whatever is going on, right? Very often when you postpone, and then the kid comes back and says, can I have my Fanta now? Oh, let's go for this. You distract them. They kind of like postpone it. But don't postpone it too far. If the kid gets to the point, like said, Mom, you promised me that maybe later, then give the child the Fanta. But very often what you will find out is that the kids forget. Because they're distracted with other things, so they actually forget. Because it is a craving. It's not that they're thirsty. It's a craving for sugar. It's not that they're thirsty, because they're fine with the water. So
but what happens? Yeah. Sorry, continue.
No, fine.
So what happens if it's at home?
Same thing. The thing is, I have a beautiful experience with one of my kids. One of my kids he used to drink Coke or Fanta every lunchtime at school. He would have pocket money to buy his Coke, right, or his Fanta. After 4 months working together, 4 months, okay, he announced in his family, we are not going to have any Fanta and any soda drinks, neither in the pantry nor in the fridge anymore. He made the decision for the family. But it took us 4 months. We went from 5 drinks of Coke per week to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1, to once in a while. It takes time. Kids, one of the important things is with kids, don't go fast. I mean, I didn't work only on 4 months, only on drinks. At the same time, we started food, etc., right? I worked with the parents on food and other things, right? But for example, from 5 cans a week to 0 cans at home took 4 months, but that is a huge achievement. Because he erased the habit, he took the habit of drinking sweet drinks. He made the big decision to not even have it, to eliminate it, at least from home.
So even though the thing is available at home, but we create gradually to allow him or her to
absolutely.
make the decision.
The thing is, postpone and reduce. It's the same thing. Instead of, remember when we talked about the ice cream? Don't eat 3 scoops, eat 1 scoop. Enjoy it. Then make it with the Fanta, buy small bottles or whatsoever, and give them half only, and let them enjoy it.
So let them enjoy it.
From half you go to every 2 days only. But the thing is, you have to, 2 things. You have to be very patient with kids, very patient. Okay? And you have to have a lot of compassion, because they are just kids. They don't decide to make changes in their life. You impose them in a certain way, right? So what you have to do, or what the target is, to make them kind of co-decision maker, right? And you always have to offer alternatives. If you take away the Fanta, you have to offer something else. I had a client who was addicted now. He loved mango juice, the packed mango juice, right? He loved it. And there's a lot of sugar in that one, right?
Yes.
So what worked for him was that we had this mango juice still in the fridge, but we created a fresh mango juice with not fresh, it was frozen mangoes, mashed, and then with ice things, like crushed ice, etc. So he had his packet. You can never take them away from kids. If you take something away, they're going to ask for it. But if you leave it there, but you put the alternative, the better alternative next to it, in the beginning, they're like, I still want my packaged juice. And then, at dinner, you serve the new juice, the homemade juice with a little bit of honey to give a little bit of sweetness. And it's actually okay. Now it's only that, apparently it's only that mango juice. There's no more packed mango juice. But
okay,
so you have to offer, you can't take away everything and say, oh, now it's only water. You see?
Yeah. So even though, because sometimes I don't know, they can just take from the cabinet what they want to eat, and I'm not there. For example, I'm doing my work in the office room, so I wouldn't be knowing what they pick out. My helper is busy out there, so that's the thing.
Okay.
It's easily available for them to pick up themselves.
Okay.
Rather than
You can do two things. Two things I recommend. You put them higher, so they have to ask for it. And you still give it to them. You still give it to them. Don't say, no, it's up there, you're not supposed to have it. But then you can interfere. Because if you give it to them and say, how about we only have like half a glass today? Or how about, what would you, let's look at the smoothies. What would be a smoothie we can make that goes with that? So once in a while, instead of this, you have that. Don't just tell them not to have it anymore. You have to give alternatives. You have to offer alternatives. Otherwise, your kid is really like angry and like, no, and the more you take away, the more the kid wants it, right? We're all like that, right? The more something we like is taken away, the more we imagine we're craving for it, which is not true, but it's just this anger and this frustration that creates this extra craving. So always think about alternatives, but that is, again, what works for one doesn't work for the other. So, you have to look at, maybe you can buy other drinks instead of certain drinks. That is where food labels come in. For example, I'm going to do one of the best ways of changing food habits is to be able to read food labels and buy better food because with less sugar, etc.
So talk about your food labels. You're going to have a webinar, right? Coming soon. Yes. Let me share the webinar.
That is actually a real training. That's a training program, a training program about food label reading. Because, many people always, I get the question, so if I want to have a healthier lifestyle, do I have to buy organic food only? Do we have to become vegetarian? Do we have to do this? Do we have to do that? Do I have to eat gluten-free, etc.? And my advice always is, learn how to read food labels, because when you know how to eat food labels, you can already make much better choices.
Yeah. So it's going to be on Thursday, right? Let me see. Read again. Thursday, 17th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Yes, and if you're interested, you can contact me on LinkedIn, or in my Facebook, or by WhatsApp.
So
contact me.
For your website, right? For the next week. And also, if any further information you would want to know, you can also go to Angela's website, paloma.my. She have a lot of information there that if you want to know more on how you can have I definitely want to hire Angela. I help my family help. So I think everybody, if you can find this kind of help, there's not many people who are able to do what Angela do, and I'm so glad that I know her. So thank you so much, Angela, for sharing your information. I think I learned so much today. First of all, to really sit down with my husband and find out what's the value and what's the other one? Definition and value of health for us. That was the beginning, between the husband and wife, and never to judge. That's my thing, never to judge anyone, and also to also find out what are the goals that I want to achieve and gradually increase. Not straight, little bit by bit. And never say no to my kids. Never say
No,
no.
don't say no. Don't say
Don't
no.
say no and
Alternatives. Always offer alternatives.
offer
Maybe we
alternatives.
can. How about are those things that you can say? Maybe we can look into that.
Oh man.
How about we do that? Which is like an indirect, not positive reply, but still not saying no. There, you don't have the
Yeah.
rejection thing coming up, and getting kids involved in choosing a better lifestyle, in
Yes.
making them join in shopping, join in cooking. And cooking doesn't only mean looking, that means also you steer now, etc. Make them really part of it, and let them tell you, ask them to give you feedback. Was it too salty? What would you like? What did you like? What did you not like? So that they are conscious about the food, and that they enjoy food, because that creates an enjoyment to food.
Wow, 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 wow. Bravo. I'm going to watch this show again and replay every time. Okay, what is Angela asking me to do? I will replay all of it again. Thank you so much, Angela. And thank you, everyone, for watching today's show. Please come again next week on Saturday. We will have someone else too. I think I will put up on the information whether it's going to be on physical health series or financial series. And today is about learning, and I'm inviting everybody to join me to learn. And we have our specialist, Angela Eimer, habit and strategist coach. Thank you again coming, and please contact her, and we'll see you again. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you. Bye. Happy Sunday.
Happy
Bye.
Sunday. Bye.
Bye.